Today, we are offering a lifeline for grandmothers and mothers of those preschool-aged kiddos. Now that the big kids are in school, you've got some toddler time on your hands. And believe me, I am beginning to understand what it takes, exactly what it takes to stay one step ahead of these darling little learners. Here's one solid suggestion we'll put forward today for filling a few moments. Take time for a Mommy and Me art hour. And we're turning to art instructor Laurie White for how to make it successful. Great to see you.
Nice to see
Laurie
you.
has inspired me so much over the last year to be kind of more artistic in the home, especially with these little minds in mind. What are the benefits, Laurie, of doing an art experience like this at a really young age?
We want to start them as early as possible because we want their confidence to grow. We also want them to be able to experience all the different art materials and everything before we're asking them to produce something. So today, when we're talking about our toddlers and even our very youngest, I mean, as soon as they can hold something, we are talking about process art, and process art is all about the experience and not the end product. So this is perfect to start off with our very first art experiences.
I was going to ask you an age, but you say as young as they can pick up a crayon.
Yeah, now if your baby's gonna eat the crayon, you know, I mean, my kids have ingested lots of stuff. They're all fine. But yeah, as soon as they can hold something, and even you can hold their hand, as soon as they can make a mess, then you're ready to go, you know, you're ready to start art.
What's your inspiration for this particular Mommy and Me craft time?
So I'm gonna show you some process art things, and then our inspiration today is Eric Carle. Because Eric Carle loves to make a mess, and he does a lot of process art, and then he makes a fabulous art product. So we're using both of those things today. Process art's gonna really thrill our little ones, and then the product is really gonna give mom something to do that's creative and fun with her kids.
I appreciate that, because when we are talking about such young kids, my daughter would be content just to scribble on a piece of paper, and that's part of the process, I understand.
It is, yeah.
But for me, it's nice to have kind of a guiding inspiration point. So these storybooks, these illustrations can serve as that from the mom perspective.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you probably have a pile at home of all of their scribbles. You know, there's times where you just want to give them the watercolors and tape a big piece of paper down and let them go for it. And I hate to throw away, it's kid art. So I would have this stuff stacked up like in a bin.
Yeah.
So one day you could also pull that out and say, now we're gonna make something out of all of your artwork.
Okay, show us what you mean.
Okay, so I just did a lot of different things. I want you to understand at home, anything you have is fine. So, you know, these are like dot markers, which this is a really great thing for toddlers and babies because it's fat, and you can splatter it and you can squirt it, you know, squiggle it and get some great art, and it gives you a lot of bold color.
Okay.
And it's not too messy. Don't let your baby eat the sponge on the bottom.
She knows who she's talking to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I have messy kids. Okay, and this was just watercolors and just lots of different ways to, you know, have them try brush strokes and colors. And let me tell you, they're gonna get to the black and it's gonna be everywhere. And if you kind of see that your kid is always covering everything with black, just pop the black out or put some tape over it.
Okay.
Because they're like, oh my gosh, and then everything's black.
That color just draws them in sometimes.
It does. So just kind of a word to the wise.
Okay, just
also, as they're using the materials, they're so excited to use the paintbrush and the paint. And if they keep mixing colors, it's gonna turn to mud. Everything is gonna be a brownish purple icky.
Sure, it's a blob.
So have a lot of paper. And because they'll do some really cool things and then they'll cover it up. So as soon as they do something, go, oh, I love that, let's move it to the side. Now try again. So more paper, and then instead of letting them work on one thing for 15 minutes because it will turn brown.
Gotcha, so move it through.
Now this is washable tempera paint. You might have finger paints at home. You can use paintbrushes. I have these little things.
What are those?
Well, they're just finger paint. They're for little kids, and you put them on your finger and then you drag through to make texture.
I haven't seen these.
Aren't they cute?
Yeah,
but you could grab a Lego, you could grab a comb, you could do anything to create texture in the paper.
Cool, all right.
Okay, markers and then tissue paper, okay? So these are just some of the ways, but now let's kind of move on to how do we make it into an Eric Carle masterpiece.
Yes, I'm all ears.
So basically you can take any of these and we're cutting them up, and we're cutting simple shapes and creating, usually he does animals, so an Eric Carle animal. So you could take this whole thing, and I actually folded it up and cut all of these at once.
Okay.
And then you can glue them on. Now, here's the great thing. You do process art, you put your little one down for a nap while it dries, okay? Then you could kind of gather everything. They wake up from nap time, you read them a story, and you could say, what colors do you see? Which paper would be good for the body? What shape? So you can talk to them about all of those things so that they're interactive. But then you've got the scissors, you're cutting everything out, and then you put it back together on a white sheet of paper like a puzzle.
And they're literally seeing the pages from their book come alive in front of their eyes with their own work.
Yes, exactly.
That's
and
probably
this is
thrilling
exactly what Eric Carle does. So if you're even wanting to if you've got some older kids with some more cognition, you can go online on YouTube and you can watch Eric Carle, and he talks to the kids about his process. And basically he paints on tissue paper, lets it dry, cuts out shapes. His place is a mess.
See, I didn't know this. Okay.
And he's proud of it. His workspace is a mess. Paper, scraps everywhere. And then he takes a nice, crisp piece of white paper and he creates an animal or a scene using those paper cutouts. So do you want to help me finish this one?
Sure,
okay.
sure.
So we've got this rooster takes the world. Okay. So will you cut the sun out for me?
Boy.
Okay. It's just a circle, Brooke.
A brave woman.
And I'm going to cut out the little...
Well, and I
here.
hope I'm not alone in this insecurity. I'm not an artistic person. So for the mom out there who's saying, gosh, this isn't my strength, how can I pass a passion on to my child? What do you say?
I'm so glad you said that, because that's why I have Great Artist Program in the elementary schools. That's why I do these videos. I want every mom to feel like you can bring art into your kids' world. It's not that hard. And really, this is about the process. This is not the best product in the whole world. It's you and your kids having a great time together. You're building confidence, you're building relationships, you're showing them that in art, everything is okay. All their choices are okay.
That's the mess, as you talk about, you know, that author being, you know, embracing that mess
that's
in his
part of the
workroom.
process.
Part of the process.
So, you know, we've got our little rooster, and then we would just put all these little suns, and you get the glue out, and you make another mess, and it's great.
This is frameable. This is really fun.
Oh, it is, yeah. So, I mean, you can take anything, Eric Carle wise, and even other things, like this is where the wild things are.
I love it.
That I've said before that I've got a special needs son, and his class, they can't draw, most of them can't draw, but they can make a mess.
Yep.
So I give them paint, I give them colors, I let everyone do whatever they want, and then I cut out shapes and make something that they love like Lion King or that.
Process art. That's the new kind of challenge on the table, on the art table for this week with your young ones when you have that special one-on-one time while the big kids are at school. Laurie, you are empowering parents all the time through your videos, through your programs. Where can we connect with you?
So on Instagram and YouTube, it's Great Artist Mom, and our elementary program is Great Artist Program.
I'll report back. This is going to be a hit. I already know it. I already know it.